Good morning. All right, so I have a computer that came in today with a broken screen. It's a, MacBook Air. I'm guessing it's probably a 2020, and this happened twice in 2 days. So I figured I'd make a video this particular situation. So when you go to plug it in, or excuse me, when you turn it on, you get this screen completely unusable, but the customer does need their stuff off of it. So in order for me to do that for them, or if you're in a situation where you need to be able to access the computer with a broken screen that is completely unintelligible, then I can show you how to do that. Okay, it involves hooking up an external monitor, but what I find when I do this straight out of the box, what I find is that you use an adapter or some sort of thing for USB-C to HDMI, and then all you get is a backlight that looks like it has a signal, but you don't actually get any display. So I can tell you how to get around this to where it will force it to put a display on this monitor. Now, there are many variables that come into play with this, so hopefully this will get you where you need to be. I should also point out first, though, the different devices you can use. This is one that's pretty cool. You can use it on a USB-C from a MacBook. You can charge through it. It's got HDMIs, regular USB, USB 3.0, another one, card reader, BGA, Ethernet for wired connections, etc. But you don't want to use these if you can help it. You really want to use this. This is a very simple connection, and this is USB-C to HDMI. The reason you want to use that is because if you use one like this that's kind of complicated, you would need to get into the OS, and then it would say, it'd pop up and say, do you authorize this to connect to your MacBook? And if you're using it in a way where you can't even see the screen, you can't exactly do that. So for this, make sure you get a simple adapter like this one, and you should be good to go. Okay, first thing you want to do is basically turn the machine off. You can do that in many ways. You can hold this down. In this case, I'm just going to pretend it's off. Now, once you do this, you're going to take the bottom off of it. I've already done it on this one. This is a 2337, I think, 2020. I've already done this portion and taken it off. Then, once you have the bottom off on this model, you've got this board right here. This is attached to the screen, okay? You're going to mess with that in a second. First thing we want to do, though, is get this battery off. You never want to mess with it with the battery connected. No power, okay? So, in this particular one, what we're going to do is we're going to take a T4 screw. I don't have one handy because I've already done this part. And you're going to see one little cable that goes over this antenna bar and attaches right here. It's got two screws right here and here and a cover plate. Those are T4 or Torx number 4 screws. What you're going to do is you're going to take those two screws out, and you're going to be in a situation where now all you have is the cable. You can simply take your fingernail. I don't recommend using a screwdriver even though you have this unplugged, but you want to undo that cable just like this. And you do not want to overextend it or push it real hard. All right, phone call there. All right, so when you unplug this cable, you don't want to smash it over this way. Just do your best to avoid it, bending too much. And then, in many cases, what I like to do is take like a piece of paper or piece of sticky note and just put it underneath it. So when you set this down, if it goes like this, then it doesn't connect. Okay. At any rate, so then what you do is let me put the battery back on. Once you have this done with this disconnected, then you can turn it back on. And it should make the noise and do its thing. Sometimes MacBooks want you to plug a power charger in, charging cable, USB-C cable, in order for it to kickstart it to turn it back on. So I'm going to do that. Okay, now my external monitor has a white light, which means it's supposedly getting a signal. And of course this one is unplugged, but this one still doesn't have a signal. So the magic, if you don't get any kind of signal to your external monitor, is to close this. Watch this. Done. All right, guys, sorry about the weird shooting of that video there. I wanted to hook it up to a monitor for you to see what happens to get that thing to magically actually work. So just to recap, if you're using a 2020 or similar Mac that you need to see the screen and you don't get a screen just by plugging it in with a USB to HDMI adapter or something similar configuration wise, follow those instructions. Take the back off, undo the battery, number one, use a T4 to undo those two little items, take that little metal cover off and unplug the cable. Once you have the cable unplugged, you're going to put the battery back on, and then you're going to take it to your monitor, plug everything in. If it doesn't turn on, of course, use the USB-C charger to kickstart it to get it to come on. And then if you don't have signal on your external, but it still sees a signal of some sort, but it's just black, in other words, mine had the white light, simply close the lid, because it's a lid sensor that's causing that not to display on the external. And I know a lot of this doesn't really have to be said, but the long and the short of it is, if you know what you're doing somewhat and you do this and you still don't have any luck, I found out the hard way that you just shut the lid, and that will force it to display on the external monitor, because even though you have the monitor unplugged, the lid sensor is its own separate piece. Okay? Listen, I hope that helped you out. If you search for this particular thing, then it's a good thing. If you just watch my channel to see things being fixed and whatnot, that was probably pretty boring. But we'll have more coming up. I've been on vacation, so I've been a little bit lazy on uploading, but I've got more things coming up. I've also got some new equipment coming up that I've bought, and we're going to do a few more different repair videos that are a little bit better than normal. In other words, they're doing some extra things here. All right, so stick around for more stuff. Please do like and subscribe. We're at 700 and something now, hoping to get to that 1,000 soon. And have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next one.